Hey everybody, I'm Chris from RXM, and today we're going to be talking about Linkerd. Service meshes are a infrastructure layer that works on top of applications, and in the case of Linkerd, because it's specifically built for Kubernetes environments, this also works on top of the Kubernetes platform itself. The goal with the service mesh is to enhance service-to-service communication with a number of different features that you can see here on this first slide. First one is reliability. In this diagram on the right-hand side, we can see that without a service mesh, that microservices are responsible for communicating with each other, and if they want to provide any sort of reliability features, let's say like retries, that has to be built into the core code of the microservice. Kubernetes just doesn't provide any of these types of features. So this simplified line here of communication between one microservice and another really just is kind of an oversimplification, right? What's happening here in Kubernetes is a microservice pod will go and query DNS for some service, and then it will resolve typically to like a cluster IP, and then that cluster IP will act as the mechanism for like load balancing and all that through the kube proxy. Usually the kube proxy is just manipulating the net filter or like IP tables, and it is just picking one of the targets or the back ends of a service via a randomizer, right? So it's not like a load balancing scheme. There's no retries. None of that logic really it just really isn't a feature of Kubernetes, right? So if you want it to be a feature, you have to build it into your application. And that really shifts the responsibility of reliability to developers, whereas a service mesh can provide reliability in the form of retries and circuit breaking and all sorts of other features that we're going to look at. Secondarily, security, right? Again, without a service mesh, we can use TLS libraries in our microservices and have them communicate with each other securely. In the mesh, of course, the mesh provides the TLS, and we'll look at how it does that. It does this as we go through the session. But again, shifting the responsibility onto the mesh rather than to the application. And the last one being observability. Again, we can put tracing headers and tracing libraries into core code and then have traces and use a tool like Jaeger with microservices without a mesh, but with a mesh we typically get observability without having to do all that. So the idea is that all the requests from one microservice to another are essentially intercepted in a transparent way that the microservice doesn't know about, and then forwarded across the mesh securely with reliability features, with observability built in. And that way microservices can really focus on the core business logic. We don't have to have developers worry about maintaining libraries for TLS, worry about retries and observability things, right? We shift the responsibility of all those things onto the platform, which is really where it should be.